So it just gives us great pleasure to welcome all of you, the class of 2024. You know, when I say class 24, I said, did I get my year wrong? Right? You've been member for 1 year already. But as I said, we were looking whether you're in your best behavior this past year. Anyway, you'll be formally inducted into National Academy of Medicine, and you're joining a very distinguished group. You know, when I think about all of you, what you've done is mind-boggling, literally. You know, when I think about your accomplishments, and if I just want to use some examples, this year, 3 members of the Academy were elected were the LASCA awardees, Steve McKnight, Mike Hirsch, and Lucy Shapiro. 4 Academy members, 4 Academy members won the National Medal of Science, 4 National Medal of Technology Innovation, and of course, Nobel Prize. You look back on a few years ago, 2 years ago, we had Drew Weissman and Catalina Carino come up to get inducted at the same time to get a Nobel Prize for mRNA vaccine. And of course, this year is no different. The NAS member, Shimon Sakaguchi and Omar Yaji, will win Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine. Now, but every one of you, in my mind, is a Nobel laureate in what you do. They haven't quite figured out all the prizes to cover all your areas. But you know, we're not measured by how many awards and how many prizes we get. We measure it by our work, what we do, how we impact society, how we impact health, the nation, and the worldwide. That's what you do, and that's why you're all elected. For your great accomplishment, for what you've done, and for what you'll be doing for the nation and for the world. So the class of 2024, I know you bring distinction and excellence to NAM. But first, let me tell you, there are lots of people very proud of you. And that's your parents, your friends, and people nominate you. So I do want to make sure I acknowledge all of them. Your great friends, families, supporters. May I ask you all to stand and give you a round of applause? Come on. You know, it's like graduation, right? Convocation. Finally, the parents get to see, okay, my kid did okay. What I find exciting is when I speak to your children, they say, oh, mom and dad did all right. Okay, so you also were nominated. So I want to make sure the nominated sponsors have a chance to stand up and let us thank them as well. Please. So it is certainly my privilege to introduce each of the extraordinary members of Class 2024 and present them with a certificate of membership. So our officers will assist me in welcoming each new member personally. I'll be joined by the Leonard Schaefer Executive Officer, Michael McGinnis, the NAM Home Secretary, Elena Fuentes-Affleck, the NAM International Secretary, Carlos De Rio, and the Council Vice Chair, Linda McCauley. They helped to welcome each one of you to the Academy. And here in front, in the auditorium of the class of 2024, they seated in alphabetical order, just like at graduation. And they'll be called up to be recognized one by one. Now, a few years ago, my officers read every name. Boy, some names are difficult to pronounce. And so we now have a voiceover to be sure we get your name right. But we'll welcome all of you. And of course, I have the pleasure of now standing back and shaking hands. You all know this drill. And have a photo with you, but seriously, we welcome you for being here. And thank you so much. We're really proud of you. And it's so exciting for us to see all of you here. So with that, I will ask Mike McGinnis to come up and start with Q Up.
Well, thank you, Victor. As Victor said, this is the most exciting day for all of us of the year. And it's truly a privilege and honor to be a part of it. You've now, all of you, the new members and family and others who are gathered here, have experienced the Ebullient Zao welcome, which is uplifting for all of us. And that spirit is going to be continuing throughout the course of the ceremony. And that in itself is important because regardless of our stage in life or our circumstance, each of us every day experiences ups and downs. And that's no more acute than in this particular period. And it's very important that we take the time to celebrate how each and every one of you is devoting your lives and your essence to ensuring that we are continually on an upward trajectory to improve the health of everyone, everywhere. And so this time that we have to share with you is especially important to us, and let's get on with it.
Toyin Ajayi. For being an internationally renowned pioneer in primary care focused on improving outcomes for low-income and marginalized populations with complex health and social needs. She is CEO and co-founder of CityBlock Health, a mature and leading national model for primary care transformation and care integration for underserved populations.
Congratulations, Dr. Ajayi, and welcome. If we can hold our applause until the person gets up and I say congratulations and welcome, and then that way we'll get through it in time. And the next person,
Zoltan Arani. For elucidating the causes of peripartum cardiomyopathy, a leading cause of maternal death after pregnancy, and for his world leadership in quantitative metabolic studies to address mechanisms of cardiovascular diseases, including heart failure and insulin resistance.
congratulations to Dr. Arani, who could not join us today, so we celebrate his membership virtually.
Paula Arlotta. For pioneering work on the development and application of powerful stem cell-based models of the human brain, brain organoids, and for her foundational contributions to understanding processes of human brain formation and human neurological disease.
Congratulations, Dr. Arlotta, and welcome.
Carlos L. Arteaga, for discovering the role of TGF-beta in breast cancer progression and of human epidermal growth factor receptor 2, HER2, and PI3K mutations and FGFR1 amplification in drug resistance in breast cancer, laying the foundation for innovative neoadjuvant trials and approval of PI3K inhibitors. He was the first Hispanic American president of the American Association for Cancer Research, AACR.
Congratulations, Dr. Arteaga, and welcome.
Tracy L. Bale, for groundbreaking identification of novel biological mechanisms by which stress across the lifespan increases neuropsychiatric disease risk, pioneering work translating cellular processes into biomarkers in human disease, including the biological effects at the germ cell level involved in offspring neurodevelopment, and for her transformative engagement and inclusion of vulnerable populations.
Congratulations, Dr. Bale, and welcome.
Jarbas Barbosa da Silva Jr., for making important contributions as the head of Brazil's Health Surveillance and Regulatory Authority. As director of the Pan American Health Organization, he brings a relevant regional perspective to health equity.
Congratulations, Dr. Barbosa da Silva, and welcome.
Jonathan Bean, for transformative work in applying multidisciplinary precision medicine principles to rehabilitation that has reconceptualized healthcare systems and practice for geriatric and veteran populations, to embrace personalized, data-driven approaches to healthy aging, to achieve unprecedented reductions in falls and caregiver support, enabling them to maintain independence, productivity, and well-being in their communities.
Congratulations, Dr. Bean, and welcome.
Nina Bardwaj, for pioneering the discovery and function of human dendritic cell DC subsets, identifying cross-presenting pathways of antigen presentation impacting cancer and viral immunity, and establishing their potent adjuvant activity in humans, pivotal discoveries which underlie the first approval of a cell-based vaccine in cancer.
Congratulations, Dr. Bardwaj, and welcome.
Maria Elena Bottazzi, for work as a tropical and emerging disease microbiologist, vaccinologist, global health advocate, and co-creator of a patent-free, open-source COVID-19 vaccine technology. She pioneers and leads the advancement of a robust infectious disease vaccine portfolio, tackling diseases that affect disproportionately the world's poorest populations.
Congratulations, Dr. Bottazzi, and welcome.
Catherine H. Bowles, For work in accelerating the implementation of a learning health system via rigorous evidence in transitional care and advances in health information technologies. Dr. Bowles and her team have developed and commercialized a decision support tool for discharge planning to identify patients in need of post-acute care services. Her work with sepsis survivors resulted in a new ICD-10 code for sepsis aftercare.
Congratulations, Dr. Bowles, and welcome.
Chiquita Brooks LaSure. For her long career of service in health policy, during which she helped to draft and implement the Affordable Care Act while working in Congress and the Obama administration. She is the first Black woman to lead the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services.
Congratulations, Ms. Brooks LaSure, and welcome.
Robert D. Bullard. For extraordinary vision, groundbreaking research, and sustained leadership to identify and end injustices affecting vulnerable people and places disproportionately harmed by pollution and climate change. Known as the father of environmental justice, he has long led the charge to dismantle systems and structures that create and maintain inequality.
Congratulations, Dr. Bullard, and welcome.
Jason A. Burdick. For innovative biomaterials and biofabrication techniques for application in vitro models of biological and disease processes, as well as therapies for the repair and regeneration of injured musculoskeletal and cardiovascular tissues.
Congratulations, Dr. Burdick, and welcome.
Jennifer D. Carlson. For leadership in fostering understanding of how guns shape American life, including those who survive gun violence, police who enforce the country's complex gun laws, gun retailers on the front lines of gun purchasing, and the people who own and carry guns.
Dr. Carlson is unable to join us personally today, but congratulations virtually and welcome.
Bob S. Carter. For contributions to neurosurgery, neuro-oncology, CNS gene cell-based therapies, including the creation of CAR T cells against human glioblastoma, HGBM, discovery of extracellular vesicles, EVs, in HGBM, and first-in-man use of iPSC-derived dopaminergic neurons for Parkinson's disease.
Congratulations, Dr. Carter, and welcome.
Stephen Jacob Chanik. For being an international leader in cancer genetics, identifying susceptibility alleles in more than 12 cancers. He has awards for first describing clonal mosaicism and its relationship to cancer and aging. He has created and fostered international consortia on BRCA genetics and COVID-19.
Congratulations, Dr. Chanak, and welcome.
Kelly Chibali, for pioneering infectious disease drug discovery on the African continent. He has led international project teams, including one that discovered the first ever small molecule clinical candidate for any disease, researched on African soil by an African-led international team.
Congratulations, Dr. Chibali, and welcome.
Christopher G. Shute, for long-standing leadership and innovation in representation of clinical and phenotyping data in computable form that has significantly influenced the structure and content of electronic health records and their reuse in translational research as real-world data, building on his basic work in biomedical ontology, clinical classification, and fair interoperability standards.
Congratulations, Dr. Shute, and welcome.
Janine Austin Clayton, for advancing policy, program, and practice innovations to improve the health of all women by catalyzing integration of sex and gender factors across the biomedical research continuum to galvanize discovery and equity. She is the architect of NIH's high-impact 2016 Sex as a Biological Variable policy, a landmark upgrade for research.
Congratulations, Dr. Clayton, and welcome.
I. Glenn Cohen, for scholarship on bioethics and health law in the US and globally, including pioneering work on AI, big data and health, abortion, reproductive rights and technologies, therapeutic use of psychedelics, and LGBTQ rights. He is unequaled in organizing major scholarly collaborations and is a leading bioethical voice in the media.
Congratulations, Dean Cohen, and welcome.
George Kukos, for discovering the correlation between T-cell infiltration and favorable prognosis in ovarian cancer, an observation later generalized to all human tumors. He also uncovered that tumor vasculature is a barrier to immunotherapy, leading to treatments with angiogenesis inhibitors and immune checkpoint blockade showing significant benefit in many tumors.
Congratulations, Dr. Kukos, and welcome.
Lisa M. Cousins, for paradigm-shifting mechanistic studies on inflammation and cancer that identified B-cell and myeloid cell significance in fostering solid tumor progression and hindering therapeutic responses. Dr. Cousins subsequently conducted proof-of-concept clinical studies, successfully demonstrating that targeting B-cell or myeloid-based molecular pathways yields systemic and tumor immune reprogramming, fostering anti-tumor immunity.
Congratulations, Dr. Cousins, and welcome.
Lindsay A. Criswell, for defining genetic and epigenetic contributions to development of autoimmune rheumatic disorders and their relationship to specific serologic and clinical phenotypes and to genetic ancestry of patients. Her work has transformed understanding of the pathogenesis of lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, Sjogren's disease, and related diseases.
Congratulations, Dr. Criswell, and welcome.
Chinazo Opia Cunningham, for being a national and international leader in the conceptualization of addiction, the development of evidence-driven programmatic innovations in treatment, and the rigorous evaluation of program effectiveness. As Commissioner of New York State's Office of Addiction Services and Supports, she leads one of the largest addiction treatment systems in the U.S.
Congratulations, Dr. Cunningham, and welcome.
Limor Daphne, for path-breaking work in illuminating where healthcare markets succeed and fail, including powerful insights regarding market consolidation, strategic decisions of market participants, and policy solutions to market failures. Her research on competition in healthcare appears in leading journals, and she has testified and provided advice to government agencies and congressional committees at the highest levels.
Congratulations, Dr. Daphne, and welcome. It's now my pleasure to welcome the Home Secretary, Dr. Elena Fuentes-Affleck, to the podium. Elena.
Thank you, and good evening. Felicidades, congratulations to all of our new members. It is a joy to have a part in your celebration today. The presence of your family, your friends, and your colleagues adds to the festive nature of this event, and I look forward to meeting each of you. As our newest members, I encourage you to be engaged in the NAM, and when we invite you to participate, I hope you will say yes. Let us begin with the next group of new members.
Teresa A. Davis, for international expertise on the nutritional regulation of growth, having identified fundamental mechanisms by which nutrients regulate muscle protein synthesis and growth, with direct implications for improving lean growth and health of infants. She is a global leader on protein and amino acid requirements.
Congratulations and welcome.
David Dranov, for foundational insights on how healthcare markets work and how they affect patients generally, vulnerable populations, healthcare delivery, costs, and health outcomes. His work has changed scholarly and public understanding of healthcare markets and shaped policies towards hospitals, health insurance, physician practices, and pharmaceuticals.
We offer virtual congratulations and welcome.
Patricia C. Dykes. For being an internationally recognized nurse scientist and biomedical informatician who has developed, integrated into practice, and broadly disseminated innovative, cost-effective health information technology tools that engage patients and families in fall prevention, markedly reducing patient falls, the leading cause of injury-related death for those 65 and older.
Congratulations and welcome.
Peter Joseph Emby. For being a pioneering physician-scientist whose career bridges healthcare, research, public health, and biomedical informatics. His thought leadership and research led to the field of clinical research informatics, real-world evidence generation, the safe and effective use of AI in healthcare, and data-driven learning health systems that improve health and care.
Congratulations and welcome.
Alicia Fernandez. For seminal health services research elucidating the impact of language and literacy barriers on patient outcomes and experience of care that highlights the challenges facing millions with limited English proficiency. And for effectively championing workforce diversity and health equity through high-impact research and program development.
Felicidades, welcome.
Errol Fickrig. For mechanistic studies that led to an FDA-approved outer surface protein A, OSPA-based human Lyme disease vaccine. He elucidated how arthropod-transmitted pathogens use vector proteins to infect mammals. These and his efforts led to an experimental vaccine to induce host resistance to tick bites and therefore prevent Lyme disease, a new strategy for combating infections.
Congratulations and welcome.
Sylvia C. Formenti. For introducing a paradigm shift in our understanding of focal radiotherapy by demonstrating that it can convert the tumor into an in situ individualized vaccine, conferring systemic immunity. Her work has opened a new field in radiation biology.
Congratulations and welcome.
Nicholas Peter Franks. For revolutionary discoveries that have shaped our understanding of how anesthetics work. He overturned the long-held assumption that anesthetics interact non-specifically with cell membranes, demonstrating that they act at specific binding sites on a small number of receptors.
We offer virtual congratulations and welcome.
Monica Kumari Goyal. For being a national leader in research in pediatric firearm injury prevention. Her research has shed a spotlight on the burden of firearm violence on child health. She is also a leading pediatric equity scientist developing interventions that have led to mitigation of healthcare disparities.
Congratulations and welcome.
Marcia Carmen Higas, for leadership and pioneering studies in cellular metabolism, elucidating how metabolites contribute to normal physiology, aging, cancer, and anti-tumor immune control. Her discoveries informed how diet and age alter metabolite interactions, leading to disease.
Congratulations and welcome.
Scott D. Halpern, for making seminal contributions to improving care near the end of life by combining conceptual and empirical work. Through trenchant ethical analyses and leadership of the field's largest clinical trials, he has challenged old paradigms of serious illness decision-making and demonstrated how low-cost, scalable interventions can improve care quality and outcomes.
Congratulations and welcome.
Joseph Heitman, for pioneering yeast chemical genetics approaches to discover FKBP12 and TOR as targets of the immunosuppressive chemotherapeutic drug rapamycin, widely used in transplant, cardiology, and oncology. He discovered unisexual reproduction and roles in evolution and pathogenesis of eukaryotic microbes, illuminating impact on diversity, outbreaks, and drug resistance.
Congratulations and welcome.
Sally L. Hodder, for accomplishments as an infectious diseases physician and researcher. She is a leader in the design and conduct of clinical trials, particularly among underserved rural and underrepresented populations. She is an expert in HIV treatment and prevention, rural health, addiction research, mentorship of young investigators, and engagement of community in research.
Congratulations and welcome.
David Huang, for co-inventing optical coherence tomography, OCT, which has transformed the diagnosis and treatment of eye diseases and the studies of cardiovascular, neurological, and neoplastic diseases. He developed methods to use OCT and OCT angiography in glaucoma, diabetic retinopathy, and macular degeneration, the leading causes of blindness.
Congratulations and welcome.
Shauna Velura Hudson, for seminal work to address vital U.S. health system implementation challenges for vulnerable populations. Her research shapes policy and practice to integrate care of cancer and other chronic illnesses for patients and families in the context of their communities during the critical transitions between specialty and primary care and long-term cancer survivorship.
Congratulations and welcome.
Nola M. Hilton. For the earliest development of breast MRI technology, the modern quantitative MRI techniques for breast cancer diagnosis and therapy guidance through development of MRI industry-wide NIST-supported standards, leadership of multiple national network multicenter NCI trials, and development of globally commercialized Hologic software, improving the health of millions of women globally.
Congratulations and welcome.
Reshma Jagsi. For pioneering empirical research that has identified targetable drivers of disparities in cancer outcomes and within the medical profession, particularly for women. Her work to develop and evaluate innovative interventions to promote equity has established new areas of investigation in oncology and prompted policy changes by institutions, funders, and professional societies.
Congratulations and welcome.
Yisha Jin. For groundbreaking discoveries on phylogenetically conserved mechanisms that drive synapse formation and that underlie central nervous system regeneration, providing fundamental knowledge and molecular targets which inform therapeutic strategies for ameliorating the effects of neuronal injury and degeneration.
Congratulations and welcome.
Peter Anthony Jones. For mechanistically linking DNA methylation gene expression and differentiation. His seminal discovery that 5 azonucleosides could change immortalized embryonic cells into muscle cells opened the field of epigenetics and was an early example of cellular reprogramming, and led to FDA approval of DNA methyltransferase inhibitors, DNMTIs, for the treatment of hematological malignancies.
Congratulations and welcome.
Joseph Keave Aimoku Koholokula. For pioneering evidence-based interventions using indigenous cultural values and practices to improve cardiovascular, diabetes, and obesity disparities for thousands of Native Hawaiians and Pacific Islanders, NHPI. He spans science and practice, provides direction to healthcare systems serving NHPI, advocates for NHPI, and develops NHPI scientists.
Congratulations and welcome.
Christine Lane. For expanding the influence of the Annals of Internal Medicine and the American College of Physicians by addressing issues such as firearms and gun violence, reproducible research, misinformation, reproductive health, equitable health care, and scientific misconduct.
Congratulations and welcome.
Kenneth M. Langa. For being a global leader in the study of aging, His research has better defined the prevalence, outcomes, and population trends of cognitive impairment and dementia in the US and the world, and has allowed identification of the myriad costs of these conditions on patients, families, governments, and societies.
Congratulations and welcome.
Haifan Lin, for making key contributions to the validation of two hallmark stem cell theories, asymmetric division and niche hypotheses. He discovered the only gene family, Argonaute-Peewee genes, known to be essential for stem cell maintenance in both animals and plants. He discovered millions of small non-coding RNAs called piRNAs and established a new paradigm of genome regulation.
Congratulations and welcome.
Massimo Loda, for pioneering the use of molecular assays in diagnostic pathology and establishing the concept of metabolic oncogenes in the development of cancer. This discovery has led to clinical trials targeting lipogenic enzymes in prostate cancer.
Congratulations and welcome.
Beatriz Luna, for establishing a model of normative adolescent neurocognitive development, identifying neural mechanisms of plasticity supporting the specialization into adulthood of cognitive and motivational systems, informing AMA briefs for the U.S. Supreme Court decisions on juvenile sentencing, and the creation and leadership of the Flux Society for Developmental Cognitive Neuroscience.
Felicidades, bienvenida. At this point, I would like to invite my colleague, Dr. Carlos Del Rio, International Secretary, to the podium.
Thank you, Elena. Good evening, everybody. I first want to, join myself and everybody else in congratulating the new members. This is an incredible group of people. This is a wonderful event, and so congratulations, felicidades, felicitación. It's really fantastic to see all of you here, to see your families, and please make this not just a time that you come to receive your diploma, but actually the beginning of a long-term relationship with the Academy in which you really are part of the Academy. Frequently I hear members say, well, what is the Academy doing for this? And paraphrasing John F. Kennedy is, what are you doing for the Academy? Because it's more important what you do for the Academy than what the Academy does for you. And the work of the Academy is really the members. So get engaged, get involved, and be part of this because it's a wonderful organization. So we're going to go, this is like golf. We've done the front 9, now we're going to do the back 9. And we're at 51 out of 70, so we're getting there. So let's go on with the celebrations.
Trudy F.C. McKay, for being recognized as one of the world's leading geneticists for pioneering studies on the genetic architecture of complex traits and the discovery of fundamental principles of quantitative genetics with broad applications for medicine. She is a Wolf Prize laureate and Royal Society, NAS, and American Philosophical Society Fellow.
Congratulations and welcome.
Nicole A. Mastis, for contributions to our understanding of the economics of employment, work capacity, and income support for people who are disabled or elderly, for national leadership in building the evidence base for disability policymaking, and for contributions to the economics of health insurance for the elderly and people with disabilities.
Congratulations and welcome.
David J. Mangelsdorf, for landmark discoveries of oxysterol, LXRs, and bile acid, FXR, nuclear receptors that revealed the sensing mechanisms that govern reverse cholesterol transport and bile acid synthesis. With Stephen Cleaver, he co-discovered the key roles of the endocrine hormones FGF21 and FGF15-19 in regulating lipid and energy metabolism and bile acid homeostasis, respectively.
Unfortunately, Dr. Mangelsdorf passed away in August, this past August, so his wife, Dr. Katrina von Cotton, and his daughters, Alisa and Sarah, are here to receive the honor.
Jeannie M. Marazzo, for leading transformative research that has redefined our understanding of relationships between the vaginal microbiome and female reproductive tract infections, HIV pre-exposure prophylaxis, PrEP, hormonal contraception, and risk of STI/HIV acquisition. She had key roles in NIH-funded networks, ID Clinical Research Consortium, and HIV prevention trials.
Congratulations, Dr. Marazzo, you rock.
Erica E. Marsh, for research on uterine leiomyomas and her efforts to eliminate disparities in reproductive health. Her commitment to building research capacity in women's health, both nationally and globally, and her cultivation of the next generation of leaders in reproductive health will have a lasting impact.
Congratulations and welcome.
Dana Bowen Matthew, for advancing our understanding of how policies and legal systems have produced health inequities. Her work has resulted in actionable federal policy changes in the United States.
Congratulations and welcome.
Margaret M. McCarthy, for making the groundbreaking discovery of a critical role of the immune system in determining sex differences and the impact of infection and inflammation on neuroanatomical and behavioral outcomes, which provided mechanistic insights into the higher prevalence of autism spectrum disorders and schizophrenia in boys and men.
Congratulations and welcome.
Genevieve B. Melton-Mukes. For research in integrating AI with healthcare, bridging surgery and informatics, and fueling learning health systems. Melton-Mukes explores complex health dynamics, from optimizing clinical note usage in electronic health records to large-scale detection of social behavioral health determinants with clinical data. Her work has significantly advanced biomedical informatics, clinical practice, and policy.
Congratulations and welcome.
Daniel John Merenstein. For being an accomplished large-scale clinical trialist in family medicine. His work is inspired by practice and teaching, engaging hundreds of busy primary care practices in real-world research, answering foundational questions that inform daily practice.
Congratulations and welcome.
Funda Merrick Bernstam. For leading practice-changing clinical oncology trials in human epidermal growth factor receptor 2, HER2, targeted therapy, bringing novel biomarker-driven combination therapies from bench to bedside, leading large-scale national efforts in precision oncology such as NCI combo match and investigator-initiated antibody-drug conjugate match, and for building and leading one of the most influential developmental therapeutics programs in the world.
Congratulations and welcome.
Matthew J. Miller. For being a nationally recognized researcher who has led foundational epidemiological research on firearm access and suicide, enhanced our understanding of the theoretical underpinnings of suicide prevention via lethal means restriction, and developed clinical interventions illuminating how counseling patients and their families for reducing access to firearms can save lives.
Congratulations and welcome.
Julie Marita. For being one of the nation's most respected public health leaders who dedicated her career to advancing health equity. During 20 years in Chicago, she addressed racial and ethnic health disparities, leading implementation of the city's first health equity plan. As RWJF's EVP, she led strategic planning efforts to ensure all programming focuses on addressing health and racial equity.
Congratulations and welcome.
Sally C. Morton. For preeminent leadership in statistics, health policy, and science in both academic and nonprofit research institutions, excellence in evidence synthesis of clinical and public health issues, and impactful methodology in patient-centered comparative effectiveness research. Her pioneering contributions to clinical practice guidelines and healthcare interventions have reduced morbidity and mortality.
Congratulations and welcome.
Nikki Maria Moutsopoulos. For making seminal contributions towards understanding and treating the prevalent human oral disease, periodontitis. Her laboratory has contributed to the understanding of both homeostatic and pathogenic inflammation in the oral cavity, informing interventions for both rare and common forms of aggressive forms of periodontal disease.
Congratulations and welcome.
Avindra Nath, for pioneering research and strong leadership in emerging and persistent infections of the nervous system by studying pathophysiology, developing treatments, and conducting clinical studies. This includes retroviruses, Ebola, Zika, Nodding syndrome, and COVID-19, as well as long COVID, ME/CFS, and Gulf War syndrome.
We thought we would last you, but congratulations and welcome. I think he just received a riff from the government, maybe.
Thumbi Dungu, for generating the first primary isolate infectious molecular clone of HIV-1 subtype C, enabling research on viral host mechanisms of pathogenesis. He has identified regions of immune vulnerability in HIV-1 subtype C for candidate vaccine and immunotherapeutic development, currently leading the first HIV cure trial in Africa.
Congratulations to me and welcome.
Jennifer Nuzzo, for co-creating the Global Health Security Index and conducting research to measure and improve national preparedness for infectious disease threats. She co-established a global COVID-19 testing data tracker and created a health systems resilience checklist for biological emergencies.
Congratulations and welcome.
Friday Ebhodage Okonofwa, for expertise in reproductive health and leading large national and international research in interventional and implementation research for preventing maternal mortality with impact on policies and programming in African countries. He is committed to gender equality, ethics, and equity in global and African settings.
Congratulations and welcome.
Santa Jeremy Ono, for his work as a molecular immunologist who has studied the regulation of the immune response and the pathogenesis of age-related macular degeneration. He is a recognized leader in higher education who has served as the president of the University of Cincinnati, the University of British Columbia, and as the 15th president of the University of Michigan.
Congratulations, Dr. Anak. And welcome.
David Pellman, for identifying the mechanistic basis for mutational processes that generate a large fraction of the structural and numerical chromosome abnormalities in cancer, as well as in certain congenital diseases. In particular, His discovery of a mechanism explaining chromothripsis is considered a landmark in cancer genetics.
Congratulations and welcome.
Priscilla Hemu, for pioneering work on clinical trial diversity, centering on the importance of regaining trust, fostering transparent collaboration, and ensuring the equitable participation of diverse populations in medical research, from Grady Health System, a large public hospital, to primary care practices, historically Black churches and institutions.
Congratulations and welcome.
Mary L. Phillips, for use of state-of-the-art neuroimaging and translational approaches to study neurobiological processes predisposing to bipolar disorder and depression. She has identified biomarkers reflecting these processes to help improve early diagnosis and risk identification in youth, and guide novel neuromodulation treatment developments to improve mental health and functional outcomes for these disorders.
Congratulations and welcome.
Olivier Porquier, for his discovery of the segmentation clock and landmark work on vertebral development that provides a framework to understand pathologies of the spine, such as scoliosis or spina bifida. He is recognized worldwide as a leader in developmental biology and in the use of human stem cells for disease modeling and regeneration of the musculoskeletal system.
Congratulations and welcome.
Mark R. Prausnitz, for innovating on research advancing microneedles and other drug delivery technologies, inventing novel pharmaceutical methods and devices, translating drug delivery technology into clinical trials and medical products, bringing medical advances to patients by founding companies, inspiring students to be creative and impactful engineers, and providing leadership among his colleagues.
Congratulations, Mark, and welcome.
Uma M. Reddy, for leadership of paradigm-shifting research that has fundamentally advanced the understanding of stillbirth, neonatal morbidity and mortality, and labor management, and their impact on maternal morbidity through large multi-center cohorts and trials, driving new standards in national obstetric practice and improved outcomes for pregnant people and their children.
Congratulations and welcome. I would like now to invite to the podium my colleague, Dean Linda McCauley, who is the Vice Chair of Council, to do the last 25 introductions.
So I know I'm the last quarter of the group, so I'm not going to say very much, except I want to extend my welcome and congratulations to all our inductees and their families and their children and friends that are with them today. I remember not so long ago when I was inducted, and it wasn't in this gorgeous hall. It happened to be over at the Keck Center in the cafeteria. It was before you were president, Victor. But you know what? Although this is a gorgeous setting, it's the people we're with today and this special occasion and the memories that are just as precious to me as yours will be for today. So congratulations, everyone.
Jürgen Albrecht Richt, for being a pioneer in infectious diseases of One Health importance. His prolific basic and translational research findings on emerging pathogens of livestock, wildlife, and humans are unique and highly significant for animal and public health. His biocontainment expertise is crucial for the nation's bio and agroterrorism defense capacities.
Congratulations and welcome.
Selwyn O. Rogers, Jr., for paradigm-shifting hospital-based violence interventions, including medical legal clinics that address the social drivers of violent trauma to reduce gun violence and recidivism. He is a leading national advocate for a holistic public health approach with an equity lens to prevent firearms injuries.
Congratulations and welcome.
Jeffrey D. Rothstein, for discoveries that led to the first FDA-approved drug for amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, antisense therapies for C9orf72, ALS, FTD, and nuclear pore dysfunction for TDP43-based neurodegeneration. He founded the Packard Center 25 years ago, which has advanced science and training of leading basic and clinical ALS researchers.
Congratulations and welcome.
David Henry Rowich, for establishing fundamental genetic mechanisms that determine glial cell development in the brain. His research has provided insight into causes of leukodystrophy, multiple sclerosis, and cerebral palsy. He has transformed our understanding of fundamental neuroscience and promoted important advances for human neurological diseases.
Congratulations and welcome.
Dana Gelb Safran, for leadership, innovation, and accomplishment in improving healthcare quality, outcomes, equity, and affordability through performance measurement, including as an architect of value-based payment models that catalyzed payment reform nationally and internationally, and as a pioneer of patient-reported measures and novel consensus-based methods to rationalize and improve quality and implementation science.
Congratulations and welcome.
Christine E. Schmidt, for outstanding leadership, pioneering research, and clinical translation in neural tissue engineering and wound healing.
Congratulations and welcome.
Nina F. Shore, for pioneering research that has radically improved outcomes for children with tumors of the nervous system. She has been a role model, mentor, and beacon to countless other female physician scientists throughout her amazing career, from bench scientist to academic dean to NIH leader.
Congratulations and welcome.
Deborah Schrag, for pioneering efforts to develop, validate, and disseminate methods for ascertaining patient-reported outcomes that have advanced the quality, effectiveness, and efficiency of cancer research, for bridging the efficacy-effectiveness gap by developing strategies to improve equitable delivery of cancer care, and for leading practice-changing studies in colorectal cancer.
Congratulations and welcome.
Aziz Sheikh, for being a global leader in health informatics and data science to advance the quality, safety, and efficiency of clinical care internationally. He is a world leader in asthma care and in primary care, and has helped lead the COVID response in Scotland.
Congratulations and welcome.
Janet Kathleen Smiley, for being globally respected for producing and translating innovative research into tangible benefits for Indigenous communities. Her contributions include advancing Indigenous knowledge translation, unmasking urban Indigenous health inequities, and improving recognition of health systems' responses to racism.
Join me in offering Dr. Smiley virtual congratulations and welcome.
Henrik Toft Sørensen, for trailblazing the linkages between unparalleled Danish data systems, including medical records, prescriptions, disease registries, and/or biospecimens. He shaped the information systems to enable 1,400 research studies based on these systems, shedding groundbreaking light on the outcomes and clinical courses of common diseases, including cancer.
Congratulations and welcome.
Eugenia South, for being among the country's foremost leaders in developing and testing interventions to dismantle structural racism and prevent firearm injury in Black neighborhoods. She has made substantive, field-changing scientific and real-world contributions to advancing health via the lens of racial, environmental, and economic justice.
Congratulations and welcome.
Konstantina M. Stankovic, for expertise in the causes and treatments of hearing loss, which affects 1.5 billion people worldwide. She has initiated and led successful national and international collaborations to develop and deploy novel molecular diagnostics and therapeutics for hearing loss, while educating tomorrow's leaders in surgery and science.
Congratulations and welcome.
David M. Studdert, for illuminating the relationship between gun ownership and increased mortality risk. His landmark studies of medical injury and malpractice litigation, which produced novel evidence of how the liability system relates to healthcare quality, have deeply influenced legal reform.
Congratulations and welcome.
Lorenz Studer, for pioneering methods to differentiate mouse and human stem cells into a wealth of diverse nervous system cells. He discovered strategies to direct cellular maturation and aging, transforming our ability to model neurodegenerative diseases. He has spearheaded a human stem cell-based transplantation therapy for Parkinson's disease.
Congratulations and welcome.
Sarah J. Tabrizi, for contributions that have impacted experimental therapeutics of Huntington's disease, leading multidisciplinary research teams to the first randomized clinical trials of nucleic acid therapies and forging a biological staging approach tethered to fundamental science and patient research for treating neurodegenerative disorders akin to cancer therapeutics.
Congratulations and welcome.
Alexis A. Thompson, for leadership in sickle cell disease, SCD, including creation of the first national SCD learning community, the largest SCD data repository, and collaborations to improve care for children with SCD in sub-Saharan Africa, and for her role in recent FDA approval of gene therapy and other novel SCD therapeutics.
Congratulations and welcome.
Matthew G. Vanderheiden, for leadership in understanding cell metabolism and how it influences cancer initiation, progression, and therapy responses. His work has contributed to the development of approved therapies for cancer and anemia, and he is a thought leader in understanding metabolic phenotypes and their relations to disease pathogenesis.
Congratulations and welcome.
Fan Wong, for discoveries of brain circuits important for anesthesia and analgesia, and circuits for generating rhythmic and coordinated orofacial movements. Her research provided foundational knowledge for developing new therapies to treat chronic pain and movement disorders.
Let's welcome Dr. Wong with a virtual congratulations and welcome.
Donna L. Washington, for groundbreaking research that has enhanced the understanding of the health and healthcare needs of U.S. veterans and to ensure equitable access to the highest quality healthcare and outcomes for this diverse population. Her work informs health policy and strategic planning initiatives to eliminate health disparities by sex, race, and ethnicity.
Congratulations and welcome.
Mitchell J. Weiss, for being a key leader in characterizing blood cell development and the pathogenesis of red cell diseases that has defined roles for non-coding RNAs in hematopoiesis and identified alpha hemoglobin stabilizing protein, AHSP, as a key regulator of alpha globin folding. He applied ES and iPS cell technologies to study erythropoiesis and develop new approaches to therapy.
Congratulations and welcome.
E. John Wary III, for pioneering the field of T-cell exhaustion in chronic infections and cancer, where he conducted a deep molecular dissection of this immune biology. He defined the genetic and epigenetic signatures of immunity and the mechanisms of blocking the PD-1 immune checkpoint, the basis of major advances in cancer treatment.
Congratulations and welcome.
Garen J. Wintemute, for being a leading researcher in firearm injury prevention spanning 5 decades. He brilliantly translates research findings to inform and evaluate gun violence policies and initiatives that are the basis of major policies at the state and federal level.
Congratulations and welcome.
Hao Wu, for discovering supramolecular complexes, signalosomes, as central organizing structures that mediate signal transduction in innate immunity. Her studies led to a paradigm shift in signal transduction and new therapeutic strategies for inflammation and cancer, where small molecules are developed to keep the signaling proteins in a monomeric, inactive state.
Let's give Dr. Wu a warm virtual congratulations and welcome.
Mark A. Zimmerman, for recognition as a preeminent leader for the development and implementation of groundbreaking public health interventions to prevent community and firearm violence.
Congratulations and welcome. Let's welcome Dr. Zhao back to the podium.
Well, first, Another round of great applause for all the new members.